Hey folks, Isabella here, beYOUtiful coach and SGX coach, and today's series, Thursday with beYOUtiful series, are going to be about scales, numbers, and personal confession. So, as your coach, as coach of many women, who is calling herself a trustworthy, transparent, authentic, I think I need to confess something to all of you. Scale has been a catastrophe, a nightmare, a disaster to many of us women, and it is to me too. I encourage all my clients to weigh themselves not more often than once a week. The best is just once a month, when we do the progress pictures, the progress measurements, and of course, obviously, progress weight, especially when we are aiming towards the weight loss. However, and I've been guilty in here, we tend to step on that scale every day, and I've been there too. So from my own confession, what I want to say is that stepping on that scale, I was never really aware what's going on. It was the number, right? And then we move on with the day with that number in our brain. And I never really was so mindful and so aware how that particular little tiny task in the morning and that little particular number, or not little, however you want to put it out there, was affecting the rest of my day. How was affecting my mindset? How was it affecting my relationship with myself, with the food, etc. And the huge breakthrough and huge awareness happened one day, where I was listening or reading a blog or podcast or interview, ditch the scale. All right, everyone talks about ditching the scale, throw it away, destroy it, whatever you wanted. And one of the tasks on that blog or that podcast was to destroy that scale. And I'm like, oh heck, I'm not going to destroy my scale. I put some money in it, right? It's kind of pretty good quality scale, and it cost me some money. And I'm not going to tell you to do the same. However, I wrote the plan. I wrote right away the plan. Because I was so sick and tired of getting on that scale every morning, making sure I pee, making sure I don't sip even a sip of water yet, making sure I don't have even panties on me, making sure the scale is aligned properly, it doesn't sit on some type of, maybe a little hole in between tails in my bathroom, etc., etc. Obsession, right? Huge obsession. Oh my gosh, I just cannot believe that. But that was me. And when I was reading that blog, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, how sick I am. How sick I am dealing and disrespecting me that way. How arrogant I am or ignorant I am, teaching and preaching to my clients what they should do, right? How they shouldn't weigh themselves every day. And I am freaking doing that with such an obsession every freaking morning, spending 2 minutes analyzing everything and stepping on it 5 times until I get the number I wanted. Oh my gosh. So I wrote the plan and said, no, from now on, for the month of October, I'm weighing myself once a week, every Friday. Why? Let me tell you the plan. The next November till December till Christmas, I'm going to weigh myself every 2 weeks. All right? And then in January starting, I'm going to either continue every 2 weeks in January because of the holiday obsession. I may be a little obsessed with eating and checking things out. So I wanted to encounter for that obsession, to not overwhelm myself in either way. But then from February on, I'm going to start weighing myself just on progress day. And why I did that, why I split that way, because the blog was saying to trash and ditch the scale and never weigh yourself. And I've been listening to the podcasts of couple of women very successful in self-loving approaches, in self-loving tasks and tools. And again, by the way, it is no freaking so easy as we sometimes hear from others. It takes freaking time. It doesn't take overtime. It doesn't take 1 week. It takes freaking years for many of those women to get there. So for me, was like, I am not there yet. I am not there yet. My mindset is not ready to totally give up. What if I will start freaking out, not being able to weigh myself? So let me put my plan and split it in very acceptable steps, right? Acceptable for my own self, for my own mindset. So I did that, and I was successful. And I want to share with you that one day, the one breakthrough and amazing experience. I was very successful. I decided Friday is my day. Right, great. I wrote the number and I said no more until next Friday. And I was pretty cool. I'm like, wow, it gives me additional 1 minute in the morning. I can sip on my apple cider vinegar water in the morning, and I can dress, and I don't need to worry about weighing myself. And I, of course, as always, and many of us, most likely 100% of us women out there, I check myself in the mirror, okay, from side, from back, whatever, I'm cool, let me go on with my duties and my challenges and my morning routine, meditation, and so on, and my black coffee, yay. So, that next Friday came up, and I need to weigh myself, right? That was my plan. Seriously speaking, I didn't feel like weighing myself at all. That was such a cool feeling. I'm like, but okay, I promise, let me follow my plan. I stepped on that scale. I got the number. It wasn't bad number. It wasn't worse than the previous week. It wasn't the one maybe I expected. I didn't really expect much. I didn't expect actually anything. I wasn't even aware what to expect after a week not weighing myself. So I wrote the number, but guess what? You would be surprised what happened afterwards. The rest of my day was a misery. The rest of my day was a freaking miserable day, a miserable experience, a miserable self-talk, a miserable self-feeling, a miserable day. In what way? The number was here. Wherever I looked around, I'm right now in the kitchen, exactly, and because of that topic, I'm recording from kitchen. I was miserable looking at some disconnection in Wi-Fi. So I was so miserable during the day because the number was in front of my eyes. Wherever I looked, that food, coffee, not coffee, butter, not butter, coconut milk, everything was like number. Oh my gosh, I cannot have that. No, I should be better. I shouldn't be weighing myself. I shouldn't be seeing that number. Oh my gosh, it was, I have never felt that way. It was such an awakening towards the end of the day, which eventually got really miserable because I binged, I overate. From one side, I felt like, wow, the number was lower, let me reward myself. But then I overate, and then I was beating myself over it. Why did I do that? Why did I even weigh myself in the morning? All these things. And yes, I am coach, and I am teaching you how not to do that. And I am teaching you how to be self-loving to yourself and have a very positive relationship with food. But that day, I wasn't really your coach. I wasn't really the person I am meant to be, and I am about to teach you how to behave. I am not even preaching. I wasn't even preaching. I wasn't even a 5% example of that person who I want you to be. So after that, I seriously, I went on, I finished the day, whatever happened. Of course, tasks were accomplished, but mentally and the food relationship, in that aspect, the day was really, wow, awful. So to say, very modestly, I went to bed, right? Of course, full of guilt, full of reflection, full of questions why. The next day in the morning, I decided to literally meditate, sit and journal what I've been experiencing, what I've been feeling last day, what was going on. And the more I was journaling, the more I was thinking, I realized that the number from the scale was just like in front of my eyes every single minute, especially in the kitchen, around the food, around, time when I was getting hungry. Should I be hungry? Should I not be? And right away I moved back and I'm like, oh my gosh, just because I weighed myself that morning and I saw that number, it wired me to that negative whole day. Negative in the terms of my self-love, negative in the terms of my own relationship with food, negative in the terms of me thinking, okay, I should be anorexic. Oh my gosh. I used to be anorexic. I used to be bulimic. And someone who's been in that destructive and restrictive background and past, it's those wires are renewed and refreshed, and everything is like spinning in your mind. So it was such a breakthrough to realize that just simple task, that just simple move, stepping on your weight and seeing the number wired the person like me into such a negative, destructive mode throughout the rest of the day. And think about this if you're doing this every day, right? Think about this if you're doing this for the last few years, like I've been doing. I mean, no wonder why I was bulimic. No wonder why I was anorexic. No wonder why I haven't even I've put tons of effort into loving and respecting myself, into accepting the body I have, into accepting the way I perform and I feel, and still wasn't working. No wonder why. So with that personal experience, I would like to encourage you to try. Seriously, you don't need to share with me. You don't need to tell me. You don't. If that video today is going to change a life and self-perspective of one person, one woman out there, I am a winner. I am a winner, and I will be so happy, because I know I will. At least one person, it will change. Because I can't even cry right now. I know how it changed my perspective. I know how I hate the scale right now. I'm approaching end of the month right now, and I am about to weigh myself and do all the measurements I usually do. And I'm like, do I actually want to do that? Because I am afraid of wiring myself back to that destructive mode. So if that video can help one woman out there, I am a winner. And I will be the most happy winner possible. And if that woman one day will reach out to me and tell me, Isabella, the video on that particular day in 2017 November changed my way of seeing myself, or changed my relationship to myself or to the food I'm eating, and helped me out in this and this and this way, that will be the most happy moment of my life. So I am not giving you any task today. I am not asking you to share my video. I am not asking you to look up my websites, etc., etc. If you want to do it, feel free to do it. If you feel that this can help someone, feel free to share. But I wanted to share with you because I found this breakthrough and that moment so amazing, so changing. I've had many breakthroughs in my life, but that one was freaking like slap in the face right in front of my eyes. So I am happy about that, and I am happy I managed mindfully to reflect on it and realize what was going on. Numbers, right? So ditch the scale, ditch that freaking numbers, ditch that tape, and move on, and oh my gosh, and love yourself. All right, beYOUtiful coach, as GX coach, signing out, and happy Thursday, beYOUtiful out there, and peace.